Welcome to Nasdaq's Behind the Bell. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. We're bringing a little bit of San Diego week to the market site in Times Square, New York City. I'm joined by Keith Valentine, is the CEO of SeaSpine, as well as John Bostjancic. He is the CFO of SeaSpine. This is a revolutionizing company designing spinal technologies for surgeons and patients. One of the Nasdaq-listed companies rewriting tomorrow. It's great to have you both with us at the market site. Now, tell us more about SeaSpine.
Sure. So SeaSpine is unique in that we are a spinal implant company. What that means is we provide the implants for spine surgery for orthopedic and neurosurgeons. But what's unique about us is there's two components that usually go into spine surgery. One is the actual implants to hold up the spine and to actually get it back to a healing state. The other is using an orthobiologic to actually encourage fusion, if you will. And so what's unique about us is half of our business is orthobiologics, is this fusion side of the business, and the other half is spinal implant. And so what makes us unique is that we really have a very close relationship between our implants and orthobiologics that presents ourselves, we feel, in a much better way to the marketplace.
And this is what differentiates you from other medical device equipment within the spinal.
That's correct. That's correct. And so what we drive and what we're fortunate is we're able to partner with surgeons, and in that partnership we're able to innovate and create new products. But we feel it's also our obligation to make sure that we're being cost effective and we're seeking better economic gains in that process as well.
Well, tell us about a project that you're currently working on that's most exciting.
Yeah, so we have about 15 different projects in different states in the organization right now, all of them in and around innovation. Some of those are in the orthobiologic side of our business, others are in the spinal implant side. But I think the one that kind of ties them together and we're most excited about is we do understand the market's changing. And in that changing market, we have to be accountable to better patient care and better patient outcomes, but at the same time, doing it in a more cost-effective way. And so a number of our projects are just that. They're the demonstration and really bringing together those two things, orthobiologics and spinal implants, and making them so they're more cost effective while not sacrificing the results and the results of getting patients back on their feet and healthier quicker.
All right, and speaking of cost efficiency, John, how have you seen the industry change and evolve over the years?
Well, as Keith said, it's so much more important to be focused. Healthcare providers, insurance companies are so focused on improving clinical outcomes while you're reducing the cost. And I think the science we're bringing behind the advanced orthobiologics, new surface technologies and spinal implants, and combining those together and showing better clinical outcomes. We're starting to invest in clinical data for the products we've launched recently. And that's so important to the healthcare payers to just show better outcomes at lower cost. And we think we're one of the most focused companies on both the implants and orthobiologic side, and that brings a lot of value to surgeons and their practices.
And what about the value with your partnership with Nasdaq?
Well, we've been able to raise over $80 million in the past 3 years, and Keith talked about innovation is so important to our growth, and Nasdaq, of course, is known as a very innovative company, so we're proud to be associated with that kind of innovation, and the ability to raise over $80 million in the past 3 years has been so critical to continuing to fund the growth investments. We've seen a good return on those investments, and we're investing with confidence, and having the ability to go to the capital markets through the Nasdaq has just been incredibly invaluable to our growth story.
All right, I'm going to ask you both this question. We'll start with you, John. From the financial side, what advice do you give to the next generation of folks looking to get into the healthcare side of the business through a financial lens?
I think maybe it's a bit cliche, but it's always think about the patient, think about the customer, right? Even though you may be coming at it from a financial perspective, I want to be involved in the operations side and making those decisions. And somebody I used to work with made a great expression once. It wasn't just looking for somebody who wants to keep score, but put points on the board, right? Not just do the reporting, but how do I add value to the organization while thinking about here's the ultimate customer, and this is why we come to work every day, right? This is what we do. Let's stay focused on what the end customer is, and I think things work if you keep that focus.
All right, and Keith, I'll ask the same question of you.
Yeah, I think especially this generation, it's about, it's a generation that really has a drive and a focus on conservation and sustainability and the responsibility they have to generations ahead. And I would challenge that the beautiful thing about the industry, whether it's the medical device industry and specifically the spine industry, is you really have the ability to put your fingerprint on a product and your fingerprint on a procedure that changes patients' lives. There's nothing more rewarding. Every employee can follow how they have an impact on the ultimate outcome, which is getting patients back on their feet. And I think that in itself is such a rewarding drive for your career. To be able to do that and be able to see that impact is a very rewarding
Well, you're clearly a healthcare company, but I'd also argue a technology company as well. What's your favorite piece of technology in the office?
So it's interesting. Recently, one of our favorite is we got this really nice espresso machine that has brought people together to, take on problems and what have you. But I'll tell you, the real pieces of technology that we love in our office is our ability to be more rapid in how we deliver better products. And one of those ways is we have our own prototyping that goes on. We have our own testing that goes on. So it's those kind of pieces of equipment that really define us, make us better engineers, make us better designers, make us better innovators. And they're getting used more and more. And so we're putting greater investment in them, getting talent that can actually do things beyond our capabilities of 2 years ago. And that really is driving a different way we can innovate.
All right, Keith, John, thank you so much for sharing the story and for all the important work that you do. And thank you for joining us on Nasdaq's Behind the Bell. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.